Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. We now have a look at Homelander gameplay for Mortal Kombat 1, thanks to the newly released trailer, and also we have a look at our new cameo, Ferra, that's coming up as well. I will say before we get into it, like Homelander, I had a good idea going in what to expect. Ferra, I had no idea, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised from what I'm seeing. So the Homelander drops actually pretty soon from now, June the 4th, if you have the fancy edition of the game. And then Ferra later in June, and as for someone like Takeda, well, I guess we'll find out, but in the future, I'm sure before the 1 year anniversary anyways. And man, we're getting there, aren't we, man? Like almost a year of Mortal Kombat 1, that's kind of crazy to think about. That said though, we're going to do the gameplay trailer breakdown, so let's rewind a little bit here and start at the start. So out of the gate, we're going to see some interesting things here, not the least of which is just, string in the launcher, sure. But we're going to find out that Homelander is going to be a very airborne character. A lot of his air strings carry you back down to the ground and you can kind of recombo from there. We can also see that Homelander is a counter character. So he has a counter stance. I'm assuming this definitely animates for the punch. I'm assuming there'll be a different animation for the kick if he catches a kick instead. But combined with all the zoning we're going to see later in the trailer, and this, Homelander is definitely going to be a lame defensive character for sure. To that point, so here's EX projectile. It's effectively a beam, almost no actual travel time on the projectile itself. So basically you have to react to the startup rather than to the actual projectile. So it's going to be rough. We'll see if it remains to be like Injustice Superman, where if he catches you, you can lose a giant chunk of your health on like a near unreactable projectile, but we'll see how it goes. Next up might be one of the defining traits of the character. So he gets up, he flies, he's a Superman kind of character, sure he flies, eye laser, sure. We're going to see more as the trailer goes, but he's going to be able to control huge portions of the screen with the various eye lasers. But the thing about the flight is not so much that he has a flight, it's kind of like a flying stance, as you can see. But it's going to be coming in multiple heights. So here he is higher up, and then he can like lower down just a little bit. He's still above the ground, but he's not quite all the way up there. Then we see a big time airstring. Once again, the lasers are going to be a big focus of the character, right? And then we make our appearance of Ferra, and this is where things get a little crazy because Ferra is on your back like she was with Torr in Mortal Kombat X. And as you can see here, Homelander's like moveset movement is changing, right? Just a regular backwalk is now labored. We've got a hop going on, slamming you with Ferra like Torr would, right? So if Janet was the puppet character, like, the cameo gives you a puppet character on the side, it looks like Ferra is turning you into the puppet. Like, you basically become Torr, or at least Torr-like, when Ferra is on your back, and you get a whole new moveset. And that's a really cool way to go about it. Now, there's going to be more traditional cameo moves as well, but we're going to see some very interesting Torr-like abilities. So then after the big bounce here, we're going to have more air combos, more air mobility. Once again here, airstring bringing you back down to the ground to finish you off. And then we get a look at Homelander's back throw, which is a little cheeky here. Just a little zero effort toss, and he's mugging for the camera. And then dumping you on the other side of things. Now, here in this clip, it looks like we got Homelander doing a clap special, which sort of links into a standing string, with Ferra losing her mind in the background. Not sure what that is. Could that be a buff? Could it be like Shujinko, and that's the way she builds her cameo meter? It's a mystery for now, I guess. But here we have Homelander going into that low fly and recomboing people on the ground, going back into low fly, then juggling and going back on the ground and rejuggling. Like, his combo potential seems to be pretty alright. Then Ferra gets back on Homelander, turning him into Homelander Torr, and we get a giant wild uppercut. And then immediately going back into Torr stance again, and then we get some of the classics. I'm calling it Torr stance because, like, literally this is a Torr move, right? The Ferra toss. In Mortal Kombat X, I believe this was an overhead as well. We'll see if this is proper overhead here, but it's pretty cool. We also see that Homelander, when in the Torr stance, as it were, moves forward and like dashes as well, like the back dash, so your movement will be limited. And now more lasers. This might be back 4, the universal sweep. Now a different laser into another laser. Now our second set of lasers here, that first one is almost certainly a normal of some sort. Maybe it's like stand 3 or something like that, because it's clearly special canceling into the second laser. And now the second laser, I know what you're thinking. He's kneeling, right? Does that mean what you think it means? And yes, and we'll see it later in the trailer. Next, he has a giant charge special, just goes full screen, probably armored, makes sense. That'd be a good neutral call out. And now we see the cameo throw, and this is just Ferra just going wild on you. So here now, next for Homelander, quick knockdown string. Everyone needs something like that. Back into that fly stance, diagonal lasers. This means very much that his screen control is going to be pretty wild. Doubly so because that kneeling laser, yes, it's exactly what you thought before. It does go under high projectiles. So he's going to be able to crouch under lots of the game's better projectiles and just kind of smack you back in zoning wars. Dude will be a zoner's zoner. To that point, we see a big charge up here and more eye lasers. And this carries you up on the screen and knocks you back full screen. So if you get hit by this, you're all the way back out and you got to deal with the whole zoning war again. Now, this one, like some of the other ones, you can tell visibly there's a bit of startup here. And it might be like a Superman and Justice laser arc in that it has to start down, then go forward. But getting dumped back full screen is going to be a very painful experience. And speaking of painful experience, when Ferra mounts up and you turn into Torr, yes, pain and gain is back. So Ferra, if this works on anything like it does in Mortal Kombat X, Ferra obviously stabs you. And with pain and gain, that means you'll get a damage buff. You'll do more damage on your next few attacks for a limited amount of time. And also, as you can see here, Sub-Zero hits him at the very end, right? So this attack, the pain and gain, is armored, it would seem, as well. Afterwards as well, off the armor, Ferra just goes berserk on Sub-Zero and just attacks. Unclear if that's because they triggered the armor on pain and gain or if it's its own separate attack, but it looks cool. And as you can see here, big particle effect on Homelander, very dangerous looking, definitely going to do a lot more damage with the pain and gain up. And this, I keep hyping up the zoning here, so he has like a 45-degree angled upwards laser as well. So if you do really bad jump-ins full screen because you're trying to avoid the traditional lasers, he can absolutely blow you up for it. And on that exact note, he's doing the EX enhanced version, right? It looks like it gives him much quicker recovery because he's immediately able to jump and catch you in the air with his air dash style attack here and then just recombo you on the ground. And here, after doing the air string, looks like he's canceling into an air special move where he just, well, grabs you and snaps your neck. Easiest candidate for a brutality that I've ever seen. Coming up here, our next sequence is a really strong indicator of the general combo potential of the character, as he's going kind of wild while Ferra is just going crazy in the background again. So string, low fly, regrounds yourself, keeps the string going, back into low fly, one normal, and then launches you, then goes for a proper jumping air juggle. This air string pops you up, which then you can recombo back down on the ground. Like, he can do a lot. And keeping this whole zoning train going here. So Ferra with the low toss. We've already seen the classic overhead projectile in the Torr state. And this is the low. And also, as you can clearly see, it juggles, of which Homelander is going to get more follow-ups here. Good knockdown too on top of the enemy. So now enhance counter. And this launches, so going to be a big reward if you get the call out, right? And we got yet more air juggles again. And we can see a command dash, which purposely puts him underneath Liu Kang. Now here's something very interesting. So ambush call from Ferra, right? And the way I'm looking at this is almost like Motaro's teleport. Like if you do the teleport, it rips you out of whatever animation you're in, right? Homelander's clearly going for a normal string, and then the ambush call of Ferra kind of overrides what he's doing. And immediately just goes in like a downward swing, which rebounces Liu Kang, which is going to keep the combo going. So there's a big leap going on here, right? So this may be a way to like overwrite whatever your recovery is on any given move and potentially just invent all new combos. So we got that juggle going, and then, well, we just combo out, and now it's going to be fatal blow time for both the characters. And nothing too revolutionary here. It's about what you would expect. Ferra just goes berserk on you like Ferra would, and Homelander does, you know, like the low-key Superman act on you. Pretty expected stuff, ending with the lasers because he's Mr. Laser. The fatalities are pretty cool for what they are. Go check them out on the official channel. I can't show them to you because you know how the whole YouTube thing works. And then, yeah, Homelander only a few days away, which sort of lines up as The Boys' new season will start on June the 13th. So that's the old marketing synergy, right? We did much the same for Omni-Man in Season 2 of Invincible. This is advertising 101, my friends. This is how it works. which does also mean we'll be ending Combat Pack 1 in Year 1 on Takeda. And I do know Takeda has his fans, but of all the characters in the pack, he seems like the weakest character to end on, I guess. I don't know. Like, I'm not throwing shade on Takeda, but just considering, you know, some of the characters, right? Just, he seems like an oddball to end on. But regardless, I think this is a pretty good trailer. So Omni-Man was very easy to use for the casual audience, and Homelander seems to be like a very easy to understand zoner. So Omni-Man was the brawler, Homelander is going to be the zoner. Now, as far as Ferra goes, Ferra looks like they can change things up quite a bit. Once again, Ferra turns you into the puppet, not the other way around, right? Pain and gain being a thing that returns, at the very least, will be very interesting to see how that works out in a competitive nature. Because, you know, the problem with that in Mortal Kombat X was, like, you had to play Ferra Torr to get access to it. In this game, you can play an actual good character and then get pain and gain. So we'll see how that kind of works out. I will say, of Combat Pack 1, all the cameos have been very, very fun and interesting. And that said, well, that is the trailer, so not too long from now, and looking forward to it. And until then, well, I guess we're at the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Mortal Kombat.